We got regular news and bad news. Stacey, which one do you want first?
Regular news?
Regular news, we're in McLeod Ganj.
I am made to be free.
This is the home of the Tibetan Government in Exile, and it has like a huge Tibetan and Buddhist population.
Dalai Lama lives here.
Dalai Lama lives here, and there's a whole bunch of like museums and temples and stuff dedicated to sort of sharing Tibetan history, and specifically relating to the Chinese invasion of Tibet. And so yeah, so we're gonna check it all out. And we have a short amount of time here, but we're gonna squeeze in the necessities before we have to take off. And then the bad news is this is the second last place we have in India. So we have here, and then we have Amritsar, and then we leave.
So soon. It's crazy.
Yeah, it felt like a really long time to begin with, but it's gone by pretty quick.
Yeah.
Here's McLeod Ganj. Behind us is the Burning Tibet, is a statue, and I think it is dedicated to maybe monks who've done the self-immolation, the fire and protest thing. Upper Dharamshala, or McLeod Ganj, is a former British hill station, but is now famous for being home to the current Dalai Lama and Tibet's government in exile.
Sat atop a mountain overlooking the vast sweeping vistas, this town is a popular tourist destination, both foreign and domestic. Jam-packed with tourists looking for enlightenment or an escape from the heat, McLeod Ganj has rightfully earned its place on most travelers' itineraries.
The Chinese invasion of Tibet in the 50s and the continued expansion of Han Chinese into the region under government encouragement is and has devastated Tibetan culture. It's forced many to flee into India fearing religious or political persecution. With salvation found in the mountains of Dharamshala, this town has become a center for both education and resistance by traditionally Tibetan people and their supporters. So we are just leaving the Tibet Museum now. It was really good. It was really very informative and like somber. And we watched one of the documentaries in there too. What did you think of it?
I cried the whole time. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, so it's like a really powerful museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely if you're here, come check it out.
You'll learn a lot for sure. But now I'm just done.
After walking through the temple complex, after the museum, and actually all the monks were out doing their debates. We're now doing a walk around the perimeter of it. There's a bunch of like gompas and different things. Yeah, McLeod Ganj has been a lot more of a educational place, learning place or something like that. Even though it is all quite serious when you're learning about sort of the Tibet side of it. Actually walking through the temple and the monastery, the monks are all around doing their own thing and smiling and having a good time and taking pictures with tourists and stuff.
I didn't know anything about Tibet. Barely at least. You knew a little bit more than me, I think.
I watched 7 Years in Tibet with Brad Pitt.
Well, so did I. But I don't know, I just thought I learned a lot here, which makes it well worth the visit.
We're on our way to St. John's in the Wilderness, which is a cathedral in the wilderness. It's like just off the highway. But you can hear these bugs.
They're so scary. They're buzzing at you, and they get louder when you get closer, and they get really loud. And then we saw one when we were up at the temple, and it's like this creepy moth thing.
That's the head is like.
I thought it was a spider, and then I was like freaking out. Oh,
disgusting.
They're so weird, and they're everywhere.
Built in 1852 and dedicated to John the Baptist, the St. John in the Wilderness Church is a unique and beautiful site to visit.
This neo-Gothic architecture stands proudly among the forest and with accompanying graves lends an almost European feel to the surrounding hillside.
So we hiked over to Bagzu village, and then you can walk up to this waterfall. It's supposed to be popular. Only took us about, I don't know, half an hour to get here. It's not bad. So this is what we're doing today. And the rest of the day is errands and probably editing.
World's biggest climb up. Ugh. Our second and last day, we decided to hike 2.5 kilometers through the winding road out of town to Bagsu Falls.
Sadly, we have to leave. Our final Indian destination awaits us. Waving a goodbye to Tibetan food and the cool weather, we planned our escape.
If you find yourself in India, this is a rich town with much to offer in both culture and cuisine, and it's definitely a must-see.